Okay. So what we are going to learn is services. Today's topic is what? What are the services? What are the services? Services. Services. Okay. Fine. Now see, your Angular component has to do some heavy lifting job. Now, component is all about what you can say the rendering of the front data, bindings, right? Your views. Getting that? But I need to perform some operations, some calculations. So if you write that thing inside the component which will not as per the principles, you did something related to the math calculations, heavy math calculations, and you have written 1,000 lines of code or 1,000 different little functions, and everything you have written inside the app component, which is worst. Why component? Components are there just to render the data, just to render the view. Components are the presentational part. Components are there for what? Presentation. Then who is going to do this heavy calculations? Who is going to do this heavy lifting job? And for that, Angular has created one, what you can say, another layer that is nothing but what? The services. Components shouldn't fetch or save the data directly. They certainly shouldn't knowingly present the fake data. They should focus on presenting the data and delegate the data access to the service. What's the use of component is the data presentation, not the data manipulation. Presenting the data is just responsibility of component. Then who will take the responsibility of calculations? Who will take responsibility of heavy math work or some heavy lifting? That is nothing but what? Services. So let me create simple service first. So here I'll go and let me open this in the containing folder, basic app, and you can say G application services, right? G application and what? Services. It will create new application under the projects. If you can see, it will create new application under the project. It is creating ma'am could have. Why? Okay. So let me see, it will take a little time. Okay. And it has created something called as services. At the first, let me take the bootstrap. Let me take the bootstrap, right? You can copy this and straight away paste where? services style.css here. Okay, so I have pasted the bootstrap over here. Now under the services you can go which component, app component HTML dot container dot row dot col col md and the 12. Okay, container row col md 12. Okay, now what you can write, let me create simple service nggs. What you can say, nggs. What is s? S stands for service, G stands for an ng Angular. So no one has taken efforts. What is ng? What is ng? Everyone has told G and S, but what about ng? What is ng? Angular. What is ng? Okay, now you can say sample service, nggs and sample. Okay, hit the enter. Sorry. Slash project services. Now okay, so we have created one service. Okay, we have created one service. Now if you go to the service and you see a simple class, there is a simple class. Getting that? There is a simple class, and that class is having one decorator called as add injectable. What is that? We'll see later on. Let me delete it. So this is plain TypeScript class. It's a DI kind of. Okay, now see, export class sample in service I have. Getting that? And there was something like this. Let me delete this. Presently we don't need it. Okay, presently we don't need it. Export class sample service constructor and these things. Now what's the use of service first? What's the use of service? We haven't used it anywhere. You just have created component, right? And you have created what? Service. So let me create the two components, nggs, and here you can say IoT or data logger. In which project? services. Okay, and then you can say, instead of data logger, I can say data mapper. In the services, there are two components, data logger and data mapper. Remember that components are for presenting the data. Components will present the data. Getting that? While these guys will handle the data, services will what? Handle the data. The meaning of services is to handle the data, right? And components presenting the data. Fine. Now I have created two components, so you can go here, app data logger, and you can have one more row, app data mapper, app data logger, app data mapper. Two components I have. And tell me the command for running the project. npm project. Which project? Services. When you build the real-time project, you would be having only one running executable project. Presently you are running npm start -- project and the services. Getting that? But in the real-time project, you will just hit npm start. For every single project, you will create one workspace. And your one workspace might be having different libraries. Most of the time, that would be the libraries. You'd be creating all of them as a libraries, and you would be injecting them into your main application. Getting that? So you will not create multiple standalone project in one workspace. Getting that? ngg application you won't do. You'll create just workspace, and in the main you can work. And the different libraries, ngg library. Getting that? ngg library and your libraries you would be creating. Now let's go here and localhost 4200. Data logger, data mapper. These two components we have written. Getting that? Now what we can do, you have created something called as sample service. Still, this is plain TypeScript class. Until you use it somewhere, this is what? Plain TypeScript class. Right? Now services can be provided at the two levels. Getting that? Services can be provided at what? Two levels. One is at module level and another one is at component level. Now you go here, app module, there is provider. Can you see this provider? Here I can go and here you can write sample service. Either here you can provide or you can provide at the component level. I can go to the component and here and you can say providers sample service, import it. And data mapper, here you can import it. Data mapper, here you can import it. Are you getting that? So either you can provide service at module level or you can provide service at individual component level. Either you can provide service at module level or you can provide at what? Individual component level. Now, if you provide service at module level, there is some difference. If you provide service at component level, there is some difference. We'll talk about that now. Getting that? The place where you provide, that is going to create some difference. And what's that difference? Let us see. Let me remove all these things for now. And simple service, I would be having one variable, public variable for now. So your variables would be always private. I'm saying what? Always private if they are not in the component. If the variables are going to be shared from the component to the template, if you make that variable private, you get an error. The variables which are not going to be used in a template, that should be private. In the service, all the variables need to be private, and you need to write get and set methods. Getting that? Fine. Let us do one thing now. I would be having one public variable right now. Count is equals to 0. Count is equals to what? 0. And then count is equals to 0. And here in the data logger, I would be having one input type button. Value is equals to OK. And here you can say click is equals to on btn on b, just on b. Right, same thing I will write in the data mapper. So here I can say on log. And in the data mapper, I can say on map, on log and on map. So here you can go here and say on log. And here I can say, and I would like to have one variable, map cnt is equals to 0. Sorry, log cnt, log counter is equals to what? 0. And in the logger, what I can do, data logger works, and here I can say log cnt. Getting that? Log cnt. Okay. Now in a mapper, here I can say map cnt, and here also you can have what? Map is equals to 0. Okay. Now remember that I have provided service at the module level. Let me uncomment this. Right, let me uncomment this. Right, so and just app module.ts, let me open it. So here if you can see data mapper, commented, and you have provided service at module level. You have provided service at what? Module level. Right. Now providing service is one way, is one type, and injecting the service is one type. Now see private, here you can say sample is of type sample service. Can you see that? Sample service. And same here I can inject it. Means data logger and data mapper both are dependent on sample service. Sample service. See, here you have provided. Provided means when to create the object. Right? Providing means when to create the object. And dependency means whenever you create object of component, the component object needs the object of sample service. The data mapper component is dependent on the sample service, meaning that, see, if you want to create DC, data mapper DMC, data mapper component is equals to new what? Data mapper component. See, you will get an error. And what's the error is? Constructor data mapper component, right, expected one argument but got the 0. An argument sample was not provided. Means whenever you create object of component, whenever you create object of car, you need to have an engine. car object is dependent on the engine object. In the same way, a data mapper component is dependent on what you can say SE is equals to new service. And what's that? Sample service. And here you can pass SE. Can you see? Now it is satisfying. So data mapper component, for creation of a data mapper component, you need to have object of sample service, dependency injection. Right? Well, in this case, both of these objects are getting created by Angular compiler. Both of these. We'll see how. The moment you provide the component, module, or the service, Angular will take care of creating these objects. Likewise in a Spring, right? Spring IOC container is taking responsibility of creating the beans. Getting that? Right? Whenever your Spring application gets loaded, all the things which are attached with add component, add service, add controller, add REST controller, right? All that objects are getting created automatically. Add bean. So component, service, controller, REST controller. These annotations are called as stereotype annotations. The annotations, right, which are foundationally responsible for creating object. Then there comes something called as add configuration, add bean. In Spring I am talking about. So if there is a add configuration, that class is also automatically initialized. Add bean, you can create object manually. Right? Fine. In the same way, Angular is having its own DI engine. That DI engine says that kindly create the object by means of your these things. All the annotated classes are going to be instantiated automatically. All the decorated classes in the Angular. In this case, what? All the decorated classes that can be add directive, that can be add component, that can be add injectable, that can be add pipe, add service. Add services, there is no decorator for a add service. There is add injectable. But intention of that is a little different. We'll see that tomorrow. Getting that? So all the decorated classes are going to be instantiated by Angular only. Right? Now, providing means when to create the object. Injecting means dependency. The data logger is dependent. Whatever you have written inside constructor, all that is dependency for particular component. All that is what? Dependency for the particular component. Getting that? So this is wrong. I'll keep it commented. This also I'll keep it commented. Okay. Now what we will do, when there is a, we have written two functions, right? On log and on map. So what we will do, this dot map cnt is equals to this dot sample dot cnt plus plus. Getting that? And here also this dot log cnt is equals to this dot sample dot cnt plus plus. Getting that? Well, let's go here and see. 12, right? Now if I click, see it's starting from same 25. Starting from 36 is starting from 37. See. Getting that? Now let me comment out this guy from here and let me check it over here. And let us see what happens now. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. See, it has also started from 0. Now can you conclude this, what's happening? If you provide a service at component level, separate object of service per component would be getting created. If you provide service at module level, only one object of what you can say service would be getting created. Only one object of service throughout the module would be getting created. So they will share the data. If these two components are sharing the count variable, see now, getting that? These two variables are sharing what? Count variable. Right? These two variables are sharing what? Count variable. What do you mean by providing? Providing is nothing but the object creation. When to create an object? At the loading time of module or at the time of component creation. So if service is provided at what? Component level, per component separate service object would be getting created. Most of the services that you will create, that might be most of the time, generally would be at what? Component level. Web services, they would be at the component level. If you want to share the data throughout the module, that is a little bit, remember that, responsible job. If you forget to clean the data, that is a memory leak. Because throughout the module, that object would be alive. Throughout the module, that object is remaining alive. Getting that? So remember that if you create at a module, if you provide at a module level, throughout the life of module, that object will remain open. Right? If you provide at a component level, getting that? Only component, if it is alive, service is alive. Remember that what is at, what you can say, providing at the module level and providing at the component level. Okay? Any questions you have? So this is it in the part 1. Tomorrow we are going to understand what is at injectable. And Angular 7 has given you something new that we will see tomorrow. Tomorrow I am going to work with event emitter. So you guys are not watching the Udemy videos for a service. Right? Course is already there. You have to go to the course and you have to learn from this course. Right? Okay? So we'll call for the day. I'm ending the stream, live stream.